What's up, scoundrels? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm on NBA 2K23 and I made a team of the best current bald NBA players to see if they can win an NBA championship together. The criteria to be on this team is obviously being bald, but also having bald spots, a significantly receding hairline, or significant hair thinning. But first, here are some NBA players that barely missed the cut. Chris Paul at 37 is barely holding it together. He seems to be balding more in the front than the back, which is odd. He would have been a very helpful point guard, but thankfully there's another great balding man in the league that can take his place. James Harden now has one of the worst hairlines in the league, especially since he started to cornrow his hair for games. If I were him, next offseason I'm taking a few inches off the beard and gluing it to the forehead, or just give it up entirely. Chris Middleton, fucked up hairline, fucked up face, great ball player, but only slightly balding at this point in his career. And slow-mo Kyle Anderson. I love this man's game and I would have loved to have him on the team, but I don't think he'll fairly qualify for a few more years. Kyle's a lot like me. We had the opposite of a head start when it comes to our hairlines because of our big ass foreheads. I've looked like I was balding since I was in elementary school. It was important to me that my team had a head coach with no hair, someone they could see a reflection of themselves in, literally. There are several coaches in the league that fit the description, but at random they will replace whatever team the wheel lands on and keep the head coach. There's Chauncey Billups on the Trailblazers, Monty Williams on the Suns, Jason Kidd on the Mavs, Darvin Ham on the Lakers, and a man that just needs to let it go, Tom Thibodeau from the Knicks. It landed on the Suns and I love it. They used to have one of the all-time great bald men, Charles Barkley. Monty Williams is a great coach, and I just hate the Suns organization in general, so I'm not going to miss them. The starting point guard for the bald Suns is Trae Young. He's 24 and his head looks like someone kept a lollipop on their pubes for a week and yanked it out. Next is Alex Caruso. Props to him. He has embraced the bald look and pulls it off well. Joe Ingles at small forward looks like he'd be a computer programmer if he wasn't 6'9". And leading the team is Kevin Durant at the 4 and LeBron James at the center. These guys can't keep getting away with this. It's not going to be pretty when they go completely bald, but it'll happen eventually. The bench is full of mediocre talent and below average hair. We have Evan Fournier, Dwayne Dedmon, Jordan McLaughlin, Talen Horton-Tucker, Taj Gibson, Gorgie Dang, Javon Carter, and the last but most important piece, Taco Fall, is getting a second shot thanks to his size and shininess. I was looking at the back of these players' heads in the game, and some of these are in desperate need of a 2K scan update. Talen Horton-Tucker must have been wearing a yarmulke or bribed Ronnie because he doesn't look like he belongs on this team at all. But he's developing a bald spot at 21, which makes him a great rising young talent for this organization. I wish you could edit their hairstyles in 2K23. It would have been a fun feature to have in this game, to have a bunch of bald-headed motherfuckers running around on the court. But what do you expect? It's 2K. I put this team in GM mode and I looked over every player coming into the next NBA season. I've got to say, bald men are underrepresented in this game. There were no bald made-up players in free agency, and the #1 draft creator in 2K on Xbox only created 2 bald men. There's Will Smith's side piece, Jordan Walsh out of Arkansas, who should be a pretty good player, and one made-up player named Lloyd Fields. I started simulating the season, and for the entire season, my scouts will only be sent out to evaluate those 2 players. They ought to know every hair follicle on their body by draft day. Jordan should be pretty easy considering the whole skin disease thing. In the first season, the Suns made the playoffs as a 2 seed, going 57-25. Trae Young was the leading scorer with over 30 points per game, followed by KD, LeBron, and Evan Fournier. The rebounding department isn't great because of the small ball style of play, but our pace has to be tremendous considering how aerodynamic we are as a team. The Baldheads beat the Nuggets and Suns in 5. They are now facing the Pelicans in the Western Conference Finals, and on the other side are the 76ers and Cavs. The Pelicans are a tough matchup for us. They have great heads of hair on this team. Brandon Ingram has been flexing his hair growing abilities this season with the homeless man look. Jonas Valanciunas' hair is greasier than a trailer park, and their head coach has waves. This team has to be their arch nemesis of the league. The Pelicans went up 3-2. Not gonna lie, I forced a game 7 just in case, so I could see what this team looks like on the court. The Pelicans took the lead on the first possession thanks to Trae's lockdown defense and held the lead until late in the second quarter. They went into the half tied. Evan Fournier is our leading scorer, so that's how this game is going for the Baldies. To open up the second half, they were getting bullied inside, and Trae Young brought the Pelicans lead up to 12 to start the fourth. The Baldies were within 6. It was looking like they could come back, but one of the few real centers on this team was dunked on by a white man, and the offense was running about as smoothly as the top of KD's head. Tough luck this year. They were eliminated after losing this one by 13. Hopefully these men will come back next season with less hair after the stress this game brought them. Coming into the 23-24 season, Trae Young went up to a 93 overall, so maybe he won't become CJ McCollum's girlfriend when it comes to the playoffs. I forcibly took Jordan Walsh, and he will be starting. This man hasn't had a full head of hair once in his life. I'm hoping he'll be just what this team needs. seeds, and LeBron is down in overall or two, so time is running out for them to win a championship. They had a worse regular season this year. They went 45-27, which makes them a 3 seed in the West. Trae Young is still the leading scorer with 27 points per game, followed by LeBron, KD, and Jordan Walsh. The Baldies beat the Mavs in 7 and the Thunder in 6. Again, they're matched up with the number 1 seed Pelicans in the conference finals. Zion is now a 91 overall, and they drafted a great head of hair in Nick Smith Jr., likely with the Lakers pick. I don't know what the hell is going on in the East. The 7 seed Hornets are facing the 8 seed Pistons, but 2K is going to 2K in these simulations. The Pelicans and Baldies are going to another game 7, but I'm going to make some lineup changes after witnessing what happened last year. KD and LeBron are going to move down a position so the giant pirate Taco Fall can hold down the paint. Taco paid off early. He won the tip. He was playmaking. He has the defensive IQ of a squirrel, but if he can flail his arms around enough, he'll alter some shots for us. The Baldies went down 5 in the second quarter, but KD started playing like he thought his teammates were anti-Semitic. The Pelicans go on a 6-0 run, so Taco responds with back-to-back buckets, but more importantly, he is setting screens left and right. I think that's one of the tricks to Taco contributing in the NBA on a nightly basis. If I were his head coach, I would have him shoulder checking every player he can get his hands on until he fouls out. If the other team doesn't like this strategy, too bad. What are they going to do about it? He's a giant. The Pelicans lead reaches 9 at the start of the second half. Taco manages to get another inside bucket, and Jordan Walsh has telepathic powers. He gets a steal and finds Kevin Durant on the fast break. He then gets a lead down to 1 before the end of the third quarter, and to start the fourth, Trae Young finds KD for a 3-pointer, and the Baldies have the lead for the first time this half. This is where Taco Fall started to take over. He got a layup off the pick and roll, followed that up with a block. He then got a rebound in traffic, and they get team takeover while up 3. Taco even snuck in a dunk. It wasn't impressive by any means, but somehow it feels too unrealistic for him to get enough airtime to cock back at all. And this year, the Baldies are moving on after Taco carried this team on his back in Game 7 on the road. KD had 26, Taco had 12, Trae had 10, and LeBron 18 minutes, 3 shots, 0 points. They're facing the Hornets in the finals, who are led by 92 overall LaMelo Ball and Kristaps Porzingis. By my standards, they'd be a much improved team if they were able to sign LeVar and keep one of their felons on the roster. But 2K simulation struck again. They went up 3-2. I brought it to Game 7, and I put the Hornets in their poverty jerseys, and we are rocking the classic Suns jerseys to honor our godfather, Charles Barkley. Taco Fall is starting again, especially since they have Porzingis, and what do you know, Taco is off to another great start. Not an exciting first half, but the Hornets are hanging around and are only down 2 going into the second. The Baldies start off strong thanks to Taco's screens. The Hornets came back by taking advantage of our reserves / Trae Young, and they got hot in the fourth quarter. Taco gave them a much needed attitude adjustment with a hard foul, and KD took the lead back with a 3-pointer. Taco needs the keys to the city after this. He altered the rebound. It took him forever to get down court, but he made it just in time to get the rebound and the putback. They snuck an alley-oop past him, but he wasn't going to take that level of disrespect. They called his number down low. He's tired. Get him some Gatorade. Get his country some water. He missed, but he got the board and another putback. Less than a minute left, and LaMelo gets an open lane to the hoop to tie it up. It's still tied going into the final play of the game. The computers in 2K are capable of running literally one single play in this situation. I've seen it a dozen times, and I've never seen it work. But Taco Fall proved to be the necessary catalyst. He hit LaMelo into another dimension, and Trae knocked down the 3-pointer with 0.4 seconds left in the game. The Hornets had a good shot out of the inbound, but it's no good, and the bald men finally did it. They will not be body shamed tonight. Hopefully they can find enough sunscreen for this parade they're about to throw in Phoenix. Adam Silver looks like he belongs on this team, and of all people to have the podium glitch, it's Taco Fall. He's about 9 feet tall thanks to all the hard work the developers put into the game this year. Taco again outperformed LeBron in Game 7, but the Bald King was the finals MVP. None of this would have been possible without bad genetics, so keep up the good work, Southern States. Being bald can possibly be correlated to being a better basketball player, because the less attractive you are, the more likely you are to have to work for a good living. Sorry, I accidentally took some time off from YouTube. My colon wasn't working, and then I was working on a 10-hour video that I figured could be summed up with one TikTok. But don't worry, I hate myself too. Free Kyrie, keep BG, and you can't have an STD if you don't get tested for it. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one.